Greetings. This is Celebration. My name is John Savers. I'm your host. And today we'll continue with our little series, Jews and Their Culture. Now, for those of you new to Celebration, this is a program which focuses on peoples and their culture and tries to get a better understanding to understand what makes them tick. Now, we are aware that the establishment has put forth a picture, so to speak, of such, and we're not entirely hostile to this picture. We just think it's incomplete. We think that it is sort of stressing the positive, and this is good. But unfortunately, there is a larger picture, and people cannot really have a good understanding with material omissions being standard operating procedure. We try to compensate a little bit for this, and in this way we are an educational program. Now, we do use standard references, and also we are abrasive, and we'll use out-of-print and little-known sources. And we hope by using all these and taking into consideration the standard portrayals, we'll come forth with a better understanding around the picture and so forth. Now, in this particular series, we have looked at the question in previous episodes of who is a Jew from a kind of according to the flesh, shall we say. And now we're sort of looking at who or what is a Jew according to modes of thinking, the most fundamental sources of thought to be found in this community. And as such, we've taken a look at the Talmud and also at the Qabalah. And it is the Qabalah which we are now focusing on, and we are going to continue with our attempt to give graphics, illustrations of the Qabalah and associated Eastern mystery type religions that many people may not suspect as being related very closely with the Tree of Life diagram rendering of the creative emanation and process. So we're going to do this, and in that way we hope to inform you a little bit better. We want to show you some illustrations from the previous program to give you a kind of grounding, as it were, before we take a look at some of the kindred matters. Now, in diagram 2.3, we see the 22 paths in the Tree of Life, and of course above the negative veils. Every numbered sphere is connected to other numbered spheres by paths. The paths that connect the spheres relate to the relationship between the quality of the two specific spheres. For example, Hesed is love and Netzach is feelings. The path that connects these two spheres show the relationship between love and feelings. This path does not include the feelings that are stimulated as a result of the past, which falls on path 28. Every sphere and every path has many traditional correspondences. Now, again, we do have Miss Kate Readers giving her interpretations. She seems like a pretty nice egg, all in all. She does seem to be turned toward such things as love and feelings and these sorts of things. However, it should be cautioned that this setup, these circles of emanation, are available for many interpretations, and many people can draw interpretations which are not quite as congenial. Well, that was interesting, but now let's proceed to another illustration. The spine and the kundalini together form a union of all opposites. The spine, symbolically the pole, straight, is dead, and the kundalini, symbolically the snake coiled, is alive. The spine is called the axis of creation and serves as a tube or channel on which the chakras are threaded, very much as on a string of beads. Another two channels, one feminine, yin, and one masculine, yang, thread their way up around the center by swing from left to right. This is a citation from Kate Reeder's Qabalah, A Beginner's Guide, pages 35-36. Well, again, we do note Miss Kate Reeder's feminist orientation, apparently, but there is no doubt that this is a recapitulation of the standard Jewish Kabbalah's Tree of Life format, the left and right side, the serpent way spiraling up the tree from the Malkuth to the crown, and we have that all here. Now, many people can readily envision this particular matter, this yin-yang, by envisioning the two tadpoles chasing each other's tail. A good way to see that would be to witness the flag of the Republic of Korea, South Korea, which has a blue and red rendering tadpoles, as you will, chasing each other's tail within a circle. Now, you can also see some men were bearing tattoos of this same emblem because it is supposed to have the male and female aspect as well as, by implication, all other opposites. This symbol has come to symbolize harmony, and perhaps in some cultures that obtains. However, in the Jewish Kabbalah, as I have mentioned before, there is not a kind of equality of yin and yang and harmony within the circle of existence here at the top of the crown, but rather the male side dominates and the female side is sort of absorbed. One of the ways of describing it by a rabbi is that the female turned her face. The implication is that it's hidden, it's potential, but it is not apparent. So having said this, we can proceed, but also it's quite clear that it is from this imagery that Freemasonry and others have drawn their notions in regard to should we say, homosexuality and all, and so forth, and the tolerance for it. Most recently illustrated by Justice Kennedy in his defense of the concept of pederasty and citing it going back all the way to in literature and architecture and so forth to the Greeks and beyond. This is also, however, founded upon this particular tree of life and this understanding of creation and the proceedings downward and so forth. So the tolerance in this area is manifest by the occult Freemasons and occult Jewry adhering to this diagram of the Godhead, so to speak, and that which proceeds from it, and therefore finding it sanctified, as it were, within the crown. But let's go forward. Now, in dealing with the chakras, color becomes very important. A popular alternate healing method available today is color therapy. The colors used in this therapy can often be traced back to the chakras and the spheres on the tree of life Now we have touched upon chakras and color and the relationship to the circles of emanation on the tree of life and so forth. Those interested in this, learning a little bit more, might check out Ms. Kate Reeder's Qabalah Beginner's Guide on page 36. But I want an illustration now to be put before you. Table 3.3 shows the spheres and paths with their associated body parts, disorders, and colors. It may help you to memorize body parts if you stand against a life-size tree of life. In this particular table, 3.3, which is found on page 38 of Ms. Reeder's book, gives just in passing such information as in regard to the sphere, body part, or path, not in body, disease, death, color, brilliant white, and 2, left brain, insanity, and color gray, and 3, right brain, loss of memory is the disease, and the color black, and D, vocal cords, disease, loss of soul, and the color lavender. 4, left shoulder and arm, dropsy, and the color blue. Right shoulder and arm, disease, fever, in the color red. 6, heart and lungs, disease, heart diseases, in color yellow gold. 7, left hip and leg, disease, skin problems, color green. 8, right hip and leg, disease, nerve problems, color orange. 9, genitals, disease, impotency, color purple. Sphere, body part, path. Number 10, feet, anus, disease, sterility, color russet, olive, black, and citron. And it keeps on going and going and going. I think we can all agree, however, that not in body does seem to have as a proper disease death. Well, now, this particular table runs on to about 32 parts or paths related to the body and the various diseases and colors. We've seen some recapitulation in those that we have chosen to give you of this rather long list. I think we'll all agree that number 1, where they describe out of body and the disease death, as being perfectly reasonable and consistent. I don't think there's any great surprise about that. It's interesting that they have that brilliant white color because that's the favorite coloring that those who claim out-of-body death remembrances recall. But let's go on a little further, shall we? Dath, D-A-A-T-H, sometimes it's spelled D-A-A-T, is the gateway to the reverse side of the tree of life. It might be called the tree of evil. Now I'm going to show you a table. It's table 3.4 in this particular book, Miss Reeder's, and it shows the opposites involved in these two trees. So on this particular illustration, we have a table. We have the tree of life, we have the number, and we have the tree of evil. Basically, what we'll be seeing is opposites here listed. This is something you yourself could think up, I'm sure. We'll go ahead and proceed a little bit. Under tree of life, light, the number 0. The tree of evil, darkness. Under tree of life, pure spirit, the number 1. On a tree of evil, atheism. The tree of life, wisdom. Number 2 circle, stupidity. Understanding. The Number 3, the circle 3, antipathy. Experience, under the tree of life, to be found, number D, dot, under the tree of evil, ignorance. Under the tree of life, compassion. Number 4, among the circles, tree of evil, apathy. The tree of life, discipline. Number 5, it's opposed, tree of evil, cruelty. Beauty and harmony under the tree of life. Number 6 has tree of evil, correspondence, ugliness. Well, that does make a certain logic, of course, is opposed. Under tree of life, achievement. Number 7, lust under the tree of evil. Glory under the tree of life. Number 8, greed corresponding under the tree of evil. Foundation of life. Number 9, under the tree of evil, however, instability. Finally, under the tree of life, the external world. Number 10, under the tree of evil, materialism. All the spheres on the central column have the same dark and light sides as a full moon. The spheres on the right often turn the positive side, and the ones on the left, often termed the negative side, have duplicates on the evil side of the tree of life. Do not confuse this with dark and light, often used instead of positive and negative. Well, this is Miss Reader's admonition, the validity of which is unsure. We do have these interpretations amongst various schools of Qabbalist, and the light and dark certainly do carry, in some quarters, a notion of good and evil. In fact, we see this in the Talmud, and also we have a rabbi in the state of Israel stating that the end will come with a final war between the forces of light and the forces of darkness, and that the forces of light will annihilate the forces of darkness. So I think it's fair to say that some may dispute with misreaders. And we do note that the final correspondence of the tree of evil, materialism, seems to be a characteristic of our present times. But let's go forward. Diagram 3.5 will help you to understand the conception of three-dimensional image in the tree of life, which we've alluded to. Both positives and negatives have their own positives and negatives. Positive, positive, negative, positive, negative, negative, and positive, negative. All humans have these positives and negatives. It is important to recognize the dark side within. Only then can we choose to live in the light where ignorance is no excuse. Try to imagine how difficult it would be to fight an unknown enemy. His hiding place could be anywhere, and he could strike without warning. Death is the gate to these dark sides of the sphere. On these dark sides lie all the demons and vices. When a sphere is not inhabited by the light, the demons will occupy it and manifest on the physical body in the appropriate sphere. Try comparing this principle with a house. When there is no paying tenant occupying this house, the creatures of the night will move in. These creatures hang around in the shadows, abyss, at the gate to the suburb, death, observing the movement in the house and waiting for the right moment. These creatures of the night often test the territory before they finally move in. It is therefore important to listen to your body. The first signs of illness are often preceded by a gentle warning whisper. If you learn to recognize the whisper, the shout will not be necessary. But let's go forward. Diagram 3.2 is the body and the chakras. We want to go ahead and show you a little bit about the connections with the Qabalah. The Sahasrara Kether is concerned with the relationship between the inner and outer selves, that is, spiritual balance. This chakra can be stimulated by visualizing blood pulsing at the top of the head and a violet light entering at the same spot. The sound Soham can be used aloud or imagined. That's the Soham. Vishadi Dath is concerned with communication with the outside world, i.e., the effect that our words have on others. This chakra can be stimulated by visualizing blood pulsing in the brain while the light turns to indigo. The sound OHM, Om, should also be made aloud or imagined. Svadhisthana Yesad is concerned with sexual relationships. It is also the balance between the past and the future, which very often depends on the present. This chakra can be stimulated by creating a feeling of being sexually turned on. The color orange and the sound VAM, VAM, wham, vam, thank you, ma'am. Let me now give you one more. The Muladhara Malkuth is concerned with survival in this world and how the outside world affects the inner world through the senses. This chakra can be stimulated by concentrating on contracting the anus, the color red, and the sound LAM, LAM. Now, I do want you to consider this carefully. Yoga is often perceived as a purely physical exercise. The initial purpose of yoga may be only physical, but this is in order to gain control of the physical before one can move on to the mental and spherical plane. Yoga is in total a system of meditation and self-control designed to produce mystical experiences and spiritual insights. Now, this is a citation from Ms. Kate Reeder's Qabalah, a beginner's guide, page 35. Now, I hardly need to make comment that this is totally consistent with the concept of consciousness raising. And this consciousness raising is totally consistent with evolving up the tree of life to join the Godhead. So, bearing that in mind, let's proceed a little further on this yoga business. There are 7 schools of yoga that originate from the Eastern disciplines. One of these schools of yoga is called Laya Yoga, and its 2 main features are the chakras and the Kundalini. Kundalini is described as an energy like a coiled up snake that lies dormant in the base chakra. This energy is alive and blocks the channel up the spine through the other 6 chakras. The purpose of practicing Laya Yoga is to awaken the Kundalini. This energy will then rise and move upwards through the other 6 chakras, bringing with it the life force. This energy is most commonly directed outwards during orgasm. The Kundalini lies in the Muladhara, the root base chakra, and orgasm happens in the Svadhisthana sacral chakra, which means that she rises only for a short distance. Through the practice of Laya Yoga, this force can be lifted all the way up to the Sahasrara, that is crown, chakra. This is a citation from Kate Reeder's Qabalah, a Beginner's Guide, page 35. Now, in a previous episode, I did make reference to Hindu temple sculpture, and from this we do know that those adepts operating at this particular level certainly give it a go. They try, and they try, and they try, but they don't get no crown. No, 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 no. But at any rate, let's go ahead now and take a look at this Kundalini business, which so seems to catch the idea in the Qabbalah of the twining or spiraling serpent, the serpent way, the serpent path. Let's do that now. Folks, this is no joke. Do consider it with all care. The only remaining chakra is the Anahata chakra, which is associated with Tif, Erith, Jabura, and Hasid. This chakra will not be functional when there is an imbalance in the spheres. Anahata, Tif, Erich, Jabura, Hasid is concerned with the individual balance between love and will. This chakra can be stimulated by concentrating on your heart pulsating, the color green, and the sound YAM. Yam. Yam is good with jam. Well, that's it, folks. That's a wrap. We're out of time. This is Celebration. My name is John Savers. I am your host. I appreciate your tuning in. Hope to see you again next time.